Yeah, I just wanted to show you some of the assembly I'm doing on this. Now, I got the bearings in. I showed you those. And what I did was I went ahead and put this pulley onto the shaft. I just put some blocks under here and just tapped on it with a little piece of aluminum up there, and it went right on. Now these, I was looking to see the assembly on this, because what happens is that this piece goes onto there, and then you have to put the bearing in. This piece has to be on before you put the bearing in, because there's a lip on the bottom of here, and the bearing sits inside of here, and you can't put the bearing on unless this is on first. Now I was looking at this, and this is the old bearing. So the bearing goes in there. I can't get this on because it's a press fit, but the bearing sits against that pulley, the lip on the pulley, the ID of the bearing. Then the OD of the bearing fits on that shoulder. Now the bearing will slide in here. It's a really tight fit. I mean, you cock that bearing a little bit and it's going to stop. But once you get it in there, you can move this back and forth and it'll slide. But when it gets down to the bottom, it gets a little tight. I guess it's a little bit tighter at the bottom, a little bit looser at the top, but it's still a very snug fit. But I was looking at this yesterday. So the bearing goes in there and it rides against there. The bearing rides against here. So when you look at that, there's a gap in there between the bearing. There's nothing to cover the bottom of the bearing, is what I'm trying to get to, because this is exposed here underneath, and this is exposed here in this area. There's no kind of washer or any surface to stop the dirt from getting in those grooves. Now this is way down at the bottom. I mean, there's a gap down there, but still, you would think that there would be something in there to stop the dirt from getting from the bottom back up. Now, fortunately for me, I don't use the brake. I explained that before. But for other people who do use the brake, the residue gets down here and it might get back up into the bottom of the bearing. So actually I thought about it, and I thought, well, I could get a little 1/16 plate lasered out, basically a washer. The OD is the same size as the OD of the bearing, and the ID is the same size of the bearing, and it would fit on this surface here against that pulley and fit against that lip on the inside of here. So that would act as a barrier for any dirt or contaminants to get into the bottom of this bearing on the bottom side. The top bearing is there's this piece here that keeps it from getting dirty. But that's something to consider, because I can't do that now because I want to get this thing together, and I really don't use it that much in a harsh environment. So, but I mean, if you're planning on taking one of these apart, you might want to have that pre-made, or at the beginning when you take it apart, because it does take a couple weeks to get these parts but just wanted to bring it to your attention. So what I did was that this hole here for that screw, it's a 5mm by 0.8, so I went ahead and I cleaned it out with my tap, and I got another screw yesterday at Ace Hardware. It was 75 cents. But the screw that was in there, I took it out, and it had little messed up threads on it. The screw, I think somebody was in here before, and they probably tried to over tighten it. I mean, you don't have to over tighten it, because the aluminum piece that this fits into captures that screw and it keeps it from coming out. I mean, all it has to do is basically be snugged up, maybe just a little dab of Loctite, but well, blue Loctite, not red. But the other thing I did was that I checked to make sure that these pieces went all the way down, and this one was good. This one went all the way down to the bottom, so it would you know, you want to make sure that you can put a little pressure on these bearings when you put them together to lock them in place. So this one went all the way down to the bottom. You know, I cleaned the threads, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. But this one, the one that goes up here, didn't go down to the bottom. It went down to where it was flush at the top, and I couldn't get it to go any further. And when I flipped it over to see if it was this or this, it would actually start to bind about halfway down, so I knew it might have been this part here. So I cleaned out the threads. It took me, I mean, it's still snug right there in that area, but it took me quite a while to clean the threads. I had to clean the threads here, I had to clean the threads here, and it still didn't go all the way down to the bottom. So this was before I put the pulley on. So I chucked it up here, and I put my center in there, and my center was too small to fit in there, because I was going to take a little cut where that undercut is. See that undercut right there? I was going to take a little cut on there to clean it up a little bit, but I couldn't. My center was too small for that, and I didn't want to put the steady rest in there, so I just took a little bit off that nut, took a couple threads off the bottom, and that worked. So now it goes down further than it did before, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to capture those bearings, put a preload on the bearings, you might say. So now it goes all the way down to the bottom. When I looked at the video before, the nut was kind of flush up here at the top, so anything below that is a positive. I can do an adjustment on it. So now there's plenty of adjustment. I got over 1/8 inch further down than what it originally was, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I had room there. Not that I really need it, but it's always best to have a little adjustment. And I got the new belt. Actually, when I ordered the belt, it was gonna be the last thing to be here, because they said it would take like 3 weeks, but it actually came first before the bearings. Well, I ordered it first thing, because it's a no-brainer. I mean, you just take the number off the belt, and I didn't have to, like the bearings, I had to research that, because I wasn't sure about the size. Well, I knew what the size was, but I didn't know what that little A was. It says 7007 AC, and like I said before, it's a 7007C, but I didn't know what the A was. But nevertheless, so I think what I'm going to have to do is these other bearings, they're steel. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator or the freezer, kind of shrink that down a little bit or get it cold, and then I'm going to heat up the bearings so I can get them, at least get the bottom one on there. But like I said, I gotta make sure that I put this on first. Maybe I'll put the bearing in here first and then put this whole thing in the oven and heat that up along with the bearing so I can get it on there. That way I'm not fighting trying to get the inside one on while this is loose on here and won't allow me to put it on straight. That way I'm only fighting one thing instead of two things. See here, I'm fighting the OD of the bearing and the ID of the bearing. And if I put the bearing in here first, then I'm only fighting the ID of the bearing. It's probably the smarter way to go. But I got lube for the new bearings. This is the old bearing. This is what they recommend. This Kubler Isoflex NBU 15. So anyway, it's that was $60 off eBay, but I got it on Amazon for like $33. The same thing, the same amount, the same everything. And you know, when you get this, it's a paste like stuff, you know, like a real thin grease. But you know, when you get this stuff, you have to what they call knead it. It's old plumber's term. What you do is you see, when you squeeze it, you can make it go up and down, and you squeeze all the air out of it. You get it way up at the top. You squeeze all the air out of it. Hang on. Yeah, I'm out in the garage. I can only use one hand. But anyway, you start squeezing it in different spots. And what you're doing is you're moving it around. You're mixing it up inside the tube. There's really no other way of doing it. But a lot of plumbers, they get stuff like this, and they have to mix it up because the oil and the grease separate. Well, they don't use oil and grease. It's a paste. But so you start squeezing it, and you work your way around, and you know, you just keep working it. And as you use more of the tube up, it's a lot easier to do when it's full like this. It's really hard because it's full, but if it's like half empty, you can get a lot of the air out of it, and you can start kneading it, is what they call it. And basically, you know, you're just mixing it up. So you just work it around, just keep going, keep going. But yeah, I got the screw for that, new screw, and I guess I'm ready to put this thing back together. There's really no reason why I can't. And as far as lifting that motor up, I bought a come along. Well, it's not a come along, it's a pulley. And I think it's got like 4 pulleys on each end for lifting things up. And I made this little hook kind of thing yesterday. There was a hole in this piece of wood, and I had this piece here, and gonna
where that where these two rafters come together. Gonna put it up there, hang it from the 2x4s that are up there. I really, if I have to, I'll screw it into the 2x4s, but I was hoping I could hang it between that one and that one, and because it's lifting that motor, but the motor's only 60 pounds, and this pulley system is I think it was rated for 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. But see, what happened before was I bought one from Harbor Freight, and it's for hunters who go out and they shoot deer or whatever, and I guess they hang the deer up. And I bought that one. It was like I don't know, it's like, I don't remember what it was, but they said it would lift so much, and I used it, and I couldn't do it. I mean, it just didn't work. So I bought one that was like 4 or 5 times more. Because originally I thought about, I was looking at it like a come along, but then I would have to get up there and I'd have to jack it up and down, and I'd really rather be on the ground and then, you know, pull a rope or a chain. And that's another thing I thought of too, was, you know, they got the circular thing, and you pull the chain and it winds up and goes back down. And I was looking at that wasn't too bad. That was like 30 something bucks, and but it was like 15 pounds. It was free shipping, but it was the 15 pounds that was, I didn't like, because it was all metal. I mean, it would have easily done the job. But this one is it's a metal frame with plastic cover, and it's just a rope. And I figured between 2 people we could rope it up there, and that way I could use it to take the vise on and off too. And you know, I could move the head over just a little bit to align with wherever that the end is up there, and okay, because I don't want to be pulling the motor up and then have to push it over to the machine, and then that piece up there slide out. So I can rotate this head over a little bit, and it'll work. But anyway, we're gonna put these bearings in, and I just wanted to show you what I did to make it work. And these are the spacers. I didn't degrease them, I just cleaned them up. I didn't want to degrease them, because if there's any residue oil on there, I want to leave it on there because I don't want them to rust. But I was surprised that there was nothing to keep the dirt from coming in from the bottom into the bearing. So it should go pretty good. I'll keep you updated. All right, bye.